This happens a lot in mining. The fans start to wear out. So we're gonna have to get that replaced now. Alright you guys, today we have a MSI Radeon RX 480 gaming 4 gig video card. We actually have two of these with us right now. These are used for mining. You can see these fans have just been worn out. They barely spin. We've already replaced this one. You can see how smooth those run, and these don't even really operate anymore. So we want to replace this so then we can get them back to mining. So you're going to need two tools, screwdriver, Phillips, and a pair of needle nose pliers. And you can see in here there are 3 screws for the fan, and then 2 screws at the top on both sides to hold this casing here. So I recommend taking those 4 screws off first. It's nice to have a magnetic screwdriver for this. Once you get those 4 screws out, now we're going to take the 3 screws that hold this fan in place. So sometimes you have to just rotate the blades to fit in there. And these are different size screws. As you can see, they're a little bit shorter, so you want to make sure you put that in that separate pile so you don't confuse those screws with the other ones, because you don't want to put the longer ones in here. So now you have that off, this all becomes kind of pretty loose now. So you want to be careful, you don't want to just tear this thing apart, because there's actually some metal hooks that are holding these wires in place, which you can see right here. There's one there. So that's when you want to take the needle nose pliers and pry that up. So it kind of loosens that wire. And then same thing on this side. There's a little, kind of like a metal clip to hold those wires together, and you just want to pry that open so now we can get the wiring of these old fans out of here. And then we can go ahead and disconnect. This is a power connector for the LED lights in here, so you're going to disconnect that because this has to come out. And this is our main power cord for the fans. So let's get our needle nose here. I like to use these to kind of wiggle it out of place. Be very careful doing that you don't slip off and actually snip the wire. I've seen people do that. Once you have it kind of loose, now you can go and just pry those out. And then now we can get our fans out of here, out of this casing. Kind of have to force that through, and then you have your casing open, and then see we have a screw here, so we can remove, that's just holding that power cord in place there. So we just want to take that screw out. We're going to pull that out, and now you can lay that pretty much flat. Then our next step is to take these wires out of that hook. And we get these out of here. And you can see we have 2 brand new fans here that we just ordered off of eBay, or you can get them on Amazon too. Amazon's a little bit more expensive, but they're pretty much the same set of fans. So we want to make sure we turn these around and do the same. Make sure, see how this one's out of the groove here? You want to make sure you slide that into there, because what that does is it protects it from the blades trying to hit, if you can see that. So you definitely want to make sure that's done. So we put that back in here. And you want to make sure this is very snug, because that's what's holding the wire down, so the fan blades don't hit the wire. And we can go ahead and line our holes up here and put our screws in now. I suggest doing the top one first, and it'll be easier to get the other ones in. You want to make sure this stays really tight, because like I said, that's the thing that's holding these blades down, the wiring down. So like I said, you want to make sure on this same fan that it's going through this loop, so it's hiding that wire so the blades won't ever hit it. So we can go ahead and loop that down in there. You also, like I said, you want to make sure this is nice and taut. I'm going to smash that down to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. We need to put our wire back in here. That should give us plenty of room to plug it in still. Then you want to put in this underneath the fan blade here, and then you want to play with these until you can get that past the blade so you don't break any blades. And go ahead and plug in our LED power and plug in our power for our fans. Make sure they're snugged in there. And we are on the home stretch. We just have our 4 screws left here. And you might want to play with it to make sure you don't hear any noise or anything going on. Perfect. You want to make sure you put all your screws back in nice and snug and tight, because that's what's holding all of this down to keep the fans away from the wires. So that's very important. Alright, final test. Everything looks great. So now we can plug this thing back in and make sure we're good. Make sure your wires are nice and snug up there. And there you go, you guys. That's how you can replace faulty fans on your GPU. This is pretty standard across any GPU, really, besides water block cooled GPUs, of course. But yeah, that's how you can replace the fans on a GPU. See you guys in the next video.